Imagine you are in your living room, and you've just asked your child to put their shoes away for the fourth time. The first time you were polite. The second time you were firm. The third time you were basically pleading. And now the fourth time. You're about 2 seconds away from losing your cool and turning into a person you don't even recognize. We've all been there, standing in that gap between our words and their actions, wondering why on earth they simply won't listen. We feel disrespected, and we feel like we're failing at the most important job we'll ever have. But what if I told you that the reason they aren't listening isn't because they are defiant, or because you are doing it wrong? It's because the way our adult brains communicate and the way a child's brain receives information are on two completely different frequencies. Today, I'm going to share with you a biological cheat code for parenting. It's a 3-word phrase that bridges that gap, activates their cooperation center, and makes them listen the very first time without you ever having to raise your voice. To understand why these 3 words work, we first have to understand the parental white noise effect. When we repeat ourselves over and over, "Put your shoes away. Put your shoes away. I said put your shoes away," our children's brains actually begin to tune us out. It becomes background noise, like a fan whirring or rain hitting the roof. Their brain realizes that the consequence for not listening is simply hearing the same sentence again. There is no urgency. There is no connection. There is only a parent who is gradually getting louder while the child remains safely tucked away in their own world. Most of us are stuck in a cycle of nagging, which actually trains our kids to listen until we reach that specific yelling volume that they know means we finally mean business. The secret to breaking this cycle lies in moving away from giving commands and moving toward building connection. The 3 words that change everything are when you have, now. Before you think that sounds too simple, let me explain the psychological machinery behind it. This isn't just a phrase. It's an entire shift in the power dynamic of your home. It's what psychologists call an enforceable statement. Instead of telling a child what to do, which often triggers their natural counter-will or desire to resist control, you are telling them what you are going to do based on their choices. It moves the conflict from between you and the child to between the child and the outcome. Let's look at how when you have plays out in a real-world scenario. Instead of saying put your toys away now or we aren't going to the park, which sounds like a threat and invites a no or an I don't want to, you say when you have put your toys in the bin, we will be ready to head to the park. Do you hear the difference? The first version is a me versus you battle. The second version is a logical sequence. You aren't being the bad guy who is taking away the park. You are simply the clock that is waiting for the prerequisite to be met. It puts the child in the driver's seat of their own day. It gives them agency. This works because of a concept called positive expectancy. When you use the words when you have, you are signaling to their brain that you already believe they are going to do it. You aren't asking will you or demanding do it. You are stating a future reality. When you have finished your vegetables, you'll be ready for your dessert. This assumes the action will happen. It's a subtle form of cognitive priming that makes a child feel capable and cooperative rather than controlled and small. But for these 3 words to work their magic, you have to master the pause. This is another part of the secret. After you deliver your one you have statement, you must stop talking. This is where most parents fail. They say the 3 words and then they keep talking. When you have put your shoes away, we can go to grandma's. Come on. We're going to be late. And grandma made cookies. So hurry up. By adding all that extra noise, you've just turned a connection move back into nagging. The silence after the instruction is where the child's brain processes the choice. It creates a productive tension. They realize that the fun thing is waiting on them, and you are just the calm, loving observer waiting for them to succeed. Another reason children don't listen the first time is transition friction. Imagine you are in the middle of a really important project at work, and your boss walks in and shouts, "Stop that right now and come to a meeting." You would feel frustrated, annoyed, and resistant. Children are the same. Their project might be building a Lego castle or watching a cartoon, but to them, it is the most important thing in the world. When we bark orders at them from across the room, we are interrupting their flow. To make the when you have rule even more powerful, you need to use the 2-minute warning and physical presence. Stop shouting from the kitchen. When you have finished this last Lego tower, it will be time to wash up for dinner. By being physically present and giving them a ramp off from their current activity, you are respecting their world. And when children feel respected, they are significantly more likely to listen the first time. Don't run, don't make a mess. But the human brain, especially a developing one, is not great at processing don't. If I tell you don't think about a pink elephant, what is the first thing you think about? When we tell a child don't run, their brain has to first visualize running, and then try to cancel it. When you have forces us to use positive instructions, instead of don't leave your clothes on the floor, it becomes when you have put your laundry in the basket, you'll be ready for your screen time. You are telling them what asterisk to do asterisk rather than what asterisk not to do asterisk. It's a clearer, more efficient way to communicate with a growing brain. Now some parents ask, what if they still don't do it? What if they just sit there? This brings us to the law of natural consequences. When you have your shoes on, we can go to the park, and they refuse to put their shoes on. The natural consequence is that you don't go to the park. The biggest mistake we make is rescuing our kids from the consequences of their choices. We yell, we nag, and then eventually we put the shoes on for them because we're in a hurry. When we do this, we are teaching them that our when you have statements are meaningless. For the 3 words to work, you have to let the outcome happen. If they don't do the action, they don't get the thing. You stay calm, you stay loving, but the boundary stays firm. I can see you're choosing not to put your shoes on. That's okay, but it means we won't be able to make it to the park today. We'll try again tomorrow. This calm firmness is the cornerstone of authority. True authority doesn't need to shout. Think about the most powerful person you've ever met. A great boss, a respected teacher. They didn't scream. They spoke once, and people listened because they knew that person's words had weight. By using when you have, you are giving your words weight. You are moving from being a reactive parent who is constantly put on your heels by your child's behavior to being a proactive leader who is guiding them towards success. Let's look at another biological factor. Cortisol versus oxytocin. When we yell, we trigger the fight or flight response in our child's brain. Their body is flooded with cortisol, the stress hormone, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic, listening, and cooperation, literally shuts down. They cannot listen to you when they are in a stress state. They can only react. But when you use when you have with a calm, supportive tone, you keep their stress levels low. You might even trigger a bit of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, because you are approaching them with respect and connection. A calm brain is a cooperative brain. You are literally working with their biology instead of against it. Another major roadblock to listening is choice overload. Sometimes we give our kids too many instructions at once. Go upstairs, put your pajamas on, brush your teeth, and pick out a book. For a child, that is a 4-stage mission that their working memory might not be able to handle. They get upstairs, see a toy, and forget stages 2, 3, and 4. The when you have rule works best when it is focused on one action at a time. When you have your pajamas on, come see me for the next step. By breaking the day down into these tiny wins, you are building their confidence. They feel like they are good at listening, because the tasks are manageable. And a child who feels successful is a child who wants to keep succeeding. Wait, there's an advanced level to this 3-word rule. The choice pivot. If you see a no coming, you can add a choice into the when you have structure. When you have finished your homework, would you like to have your snack inside or outside? By focusing their brain on the choice that comes after asterisk, the listening, you sidestep the resistance to the task itself. Their brain skips over the I don't want to do homework part and starts thinking about the inside or outside part. It's a masterful way to move through the day with less friction. Let's talk about the tone of voice. This is the invisible ingredient that makes the 3 words work. If you say when you have through gritted teeth with a sarcastic tone, it's not a connection move. It's a threat. The child will feel the shove in your voice and push back. For this to work, you have to be the calm anchor. Your vibe should be, I am on your side, and I'm just letting you know how the world works. You are the facilitator of their success. When you speak from a place of neutral authority, you remove the emotional hooks that children love to grab onto start an argument. You are simply stating a geological fact, first the action, then the outcome. One of the most powerful things about when you have is that it eliminates the power struggle. In a typical power struggle, both the parent and the child are fighting for the top spot. But with when you have, there is no top spot. There is only the sequence. You are both following the same roadmap. It takes the personal out of the instruction. It's no longer about whether the child obeys the parent. It's about whether the child wants the reward that the sequence provides. This reduces the ego friction that causes so many outbursts in our homes. Now, let's address the parent's internal state. Why is it so hard for us to stay calm and use these words? It's because we were raised in a per casa said so generation. We feel that if our kids don't jump the moment we speak, it's a personal insult to our worth as parents. We have to decouple our ego from our child's behavior. Their refusal to listen isn't a judgment on you. It's just them being a child with a developing brain. When you realize that, you can stay in that calm anchor space much more easily. You can look at the no and think, okay, the sequence is paused. I'll wait. Let's look at the lasting impact. When you use when you have consistently, they are learning that they have the power to get what they want by performing the necessary steps. This is a vital life skill. You are training them for the real world, where bosses and partners and society will use similar when-then sequences. You are raising a functional adult, not just an obedient child. What about the older kid? This works just as well with teenagers. When you have finished your chores, I'll be happy to hand over the car keys. When you have shown me that your room is tidy, we can discuss the weekend plans. With teenagers, the when you have rule acts as a business transaction. It removes the parental nagging that teens hate and replaces it with a clear contract. It respects their autonomy while maintaining your boundaries. It's a win-win. Wait. There's another layer to listening the first time. The non-verbal hook. Use a touch connection, a hand on the shoulder, or a gentle ruffling of the hair. This physical anchor brings them out of their internal world and into the relationship space with you. It's much harder to ignore someone who is touching your arm than someone who is shouting from the hallway. Connection always precedes cooperation. Touch, eye contact, then the 3 words. That is the golden sequence for first-time listening. Another common mistake is the empty threat. If you don't do this, I'm throwing all your toys away. The child knows you aren't going to do that. They know it's just noise. This erodes your authority every time you say it. But when you have is never a threat. It's a fact. You can actually follow through. You don't have to throw toys away. You just have to wait. The park isn't going anywhere. The dessert isn't going anywhere. It's all just waiting on the child. This predictability is what makes children feel safe. And a safe child is a listening child. Let's talk about the environment. If your house is a high instruction zone, where you are giving 100 orders a day, your child will naturally tune you out to survive the sensory overload. To make when you have more effective, you need to lower the instruction volume. Save your voice for the things that really matter. If you aren't constantly barking orders, when you *do* step in and use the 3 words, it will have much more impact. It's the law of scarcity. Your words become more valuable when they are rare. We should also address the child's why. Why should they listen? If the when you have always leads to something boring, they won't care. But if you connect the when you have to their internal motivation, you become a team. When you have put your pajamas on, we'll have more time for our favorite book. Now you aren't the pajama police. You are the storybook ally. You are showing them that listening to you actually helps them get more of what they love. This alignment of interests is the ultimate goal of parenting. I've seen houses transformed by these 3 words in less than a week. The shouting stops, the parental blood pressure drops, and the children start to carry themselves with more responsibility. They realize that the vibe of the house has changed from combat to collaboration. And in a collaborate house, everyone is happier. The when you have phrase acts as a buffer that keeps the peace and protects the heart of the home. Think about the long-term rewiring that is happening. Every time you use this rule, you are strengthening the neural pathways in your child's brain that connect action to outcome, prioritize and follow through. You are literally building a better brain. This is so much more than just getting them to brush their teeth. This is neurological mentoring. What about the parent's reward? The best part of this rule is the energy you get back. Nagging and yelling are high-energy activities that leave you feeling drained and guilty. But when you have is a low-energy move. It's the Aikido of parenting, using the child's own momentum to guide the situation. You'll find yourself with more patience, more smiles, and more joy in your parenting when you aren't constantly at war. Let's look at the mirror effect. Our children are constantly watching us to see how we handle conflict and resistance. If we handle their no with a calm sequence when you have, we are teaching them how to handle no's in their own life. We are teaching them diplomacy and emotional intelligence. We are showing them that you can be firm without being mean. This is an intergenerational gift. You are changing the way they will one day parent your grandchildren. I want you to try this 3-word challenge tomorrow. From the moment they wake up, replace every "do this" with a "when you have" walk into the room. Get on their level, wait for eye contact, and then deliver the sequence. When you have your breakfast finished, we'll be ready to get your backpack. Be brave enough to hold the pause. Watch what happens. You might see a little resistance at first as they test the new fence. But quickly, you'll see the switch flip. You'll see them realize that the leader is back in charge, and that being part of the team is much more fun than being an outlaw. Remember that consistency is the gasoline in the engine of this rule. If you do it 3 times and then yell the 4th time, the child will keep gambling on the yelling. They will focus on pushing your buttons rather than performing the task. You have to be predictable as the sunrise. The rule must be the same every single time. When then. This stability is what allows the child's nervous system to relax and cooperate. Don't forget to celebrate the win. When they do asterisk, listen the first time after you've used the 3 words. Give them high-quality feedback. I noticed how quickly you got your shoes on after I said, "When you have," that really helped us get to the park faster. Thank you. By highlighting the benefit of their listening, you are locking in the behavior. You are showing them the ROI, return on investment of their cooperation. As we close this exploration of the 3 words that make kids listen, I want you to take a deep breath.
Attending is the hardest gym you will ever visit.
It tests every muscle of your character. But with tools like When You Have, you are becoming a master athlete. You are moving beyond the amateur stage of nagging and into the professional stage of sequence-based leadership. Your home can be a place of connection instead of correction. It can be a place where words have meaning and choices have power. It starts with you, it starts with a pause, and it starts with 3 simple words. When you have, try it, stay consistent, and watch as the power struggle disappears, and the joy of parenting returns to your home. You've got this. Every When You Have is a step toward a more peaceful life and a more confident child. See you in the next one. Keep growing and keep connecting. Your words are the music of their childhood. Make sure it's a song they want to dance to. One last thing. Be patient with yourself. You will forget. You will yell. You will go back to the old ways occasionally. That's okay. Just reset and go back to the 3 words the next time. We aren't looking for perfection. We are looking for progress. Every time you use When You Have instead of a nag, you are winning. The more you win, the more your child wins. And that is the absolute best outcome for any family. Keep your calm anchor steady and let those 3 words be your compass through the storm. You are doing a great job and your kids are lucky to have you. Good luck with your 3-word challenge. I can't wait to hear how it transforms your home.